Good evening, everyone. Aliii here, February 14, 2025. Happy Valentine's Day. All right, S&P 500 close weekly candle bullish at 61.14 level, just the closed. And we are kind of like forming a nice bullish consolidation here. So this is a nice bull flag, pretty close to new all-time high, actually just a touch below that. So if we get any kind of like a rally above a 61.45, I would say this weekly chart tells me that the next resistance is going to be 6400. However, I would say 6250. That's going to be a daily resistance. So all in all, I should say we should give market bullish momentum. If we get any small correction, which is going to be a possible scenario next week, I would say still we are going to be above a 6,000. So as long as we are above 6,000, we should just give market benefit of doubt, and the correction is going to be very modest and shallow. But I would say the following week, all the way to the March, we can see a bullish momentum to the upside, 6,400. That would be kind of like the blue off top scenario that I'm just looking at for S&P 500. In the daily chart, we saw the same thing here. We just got above this trend line, which we were waiting for, but this is strong candle yesterday cannot have confirmation, a strong confirmation today. Today we just got a doji bar, so market is kind of like a pause. Wait a minute, are we gonna have like a breakout? Because this breakout is gonna be massive rally, or this is just a touch or kind of like a booster momentum to the upside. I would say I would give market more benefit of doubt for the bullishness, 6200 to 6250. But all in all, as I said, as long as we are above this February pivot, which is 6,000, we should just give market benefit of doubt for a bullishness, and any correction could be bought by the deep traders or investors. So we'll see how it goes. Moving on to Nasdaq, which was kind of like which is the same scenario. Nasdaq is leading, which is pretty nice. So we just got a nice weekly candle this week, and weekly close new all-time high. This is another bullishness. And we should see whenever we see something like this, the next week we have kind of like a follow through. Even when we are at the top, we may see some kind of like a bullishness the first day or two. So this shadow tells me that the buyers actually just push the price higher a bit. So right now, I would say for Tuesday, Wednesday, we can see some kind of like a volatility. But all in all, I should say market is kind of like getting ready for another parabolic move to the upside, 23,000. That would be the scenario for Nasdaq. I'm just waiting for that one. Also, stochastic momentum. We just got a bull reversal 2-3 weeks ago. We are just a fast line getting to overbought condition. But at the same time here, MACD is just giving us a buy signal on a weekly perspective. So this is kind of like a bullish. Again, all in all, I should say we should give market bullish momentum. Everything is kind of like a forming bullish. If we see some kind of like a bad news, then we can just say this is the news. But right now, we got a better price action in a daily chart for Nasdaq. This is kind of like the daily chart, and we got nice breaking through. Also today, we just got a nice confirmation. This means technology names, especially semiconductors, they're gonna just lead the market to the upside. 22,400 to 22,800. That's the level that I have at least for the target of this rally. It doesn't mean I can't go higher, I can, but for the short term, we can get to this area. So that would be kind of like the scenario that I'm looking at. Moving on to Dow, which is bearish today. But all in all, I should say Dow is lagging and Dow is forming a bullish consolidation, which is pretty good. If we go to weekly chart, we can see that. So here is the scenario for Dow. We are just seeing a nice momentum shifting to the upside. In MACD, RSI is in no man's land, but the stochastic momentum is getting back to the overbought. Also, this pattern is bullish. So whenever we see something like this, especially pretty close to new all-time high, this means market is digesting its move, corrective move prior to the next rally to the upside. Potentially heavy value names will have a nice rally in later February, March. If we want to see any correction, I would say middle of February to the end of the February. So next 2 weeks, we may see some kind of like a modest correction, not a lot, just because pattern tells us there is no sign of a big crash or a big correction. Actually, the formation is pretty bullish. If we go to daily chart, the daily chart tells us the same thing. We are kind of like forming a nice buy in the dip scenario here whenever we get to this area. So here's the higher low here. And right now we are just forming another bullish consolidation. We may tackle to this neckline. And also if we breaking through any back test could be a great buying opportunity to 46,000 area. We'll see that. Moving on to gold, which just surprised everyone. Such a bearish candle, engulfing candle actually at the top. This means the correction is coming. So if you just haven't watched our video, make sure watch that one because we mentioned about the modest correction is coming. That would be very healthy, and we are kind of like ready for kind of like at this area. So if we if it gets kind of like a deeper correction, so 27 to 27.85, that would be the level that I'm looking at for another buying opportunity because this rally is not over. This is kind of like a parabolic, overstretched, overbought. Anyway, if you want to slice it and dice it, so this candle is needed. Also, more correction is needed for a healthy rally to the upside. So if we get to 27.29 to 27.85, that would be great scenario for buy for gold. So we may see some kind of like a that price action is coming. Moving on to silver, which everyone is saying, hey, Ali, you just told us that this is a bullish consolidation. Yes, we got a very fantastic rally, but we got into a very nice supply area. So look at these shadows actually breaking through within this wide range bar. And look, where are we? So we just hit this and market just sold off sharply. This is a kind of like a very strong pattern. This is a shooting a star. We may see some kind of like a correction, but this correction I would say is coming back to this pink box. $31 to 31.50. That's the level that I'm looking at for silver for a long position. Still, buyers are going to come back again at this area. So we'll see how it goes. Moving on to crude, which is bearish today. Crude is forming, I would say, ending diagonal zigzag formation. If we go to 4 hours chart, we'll see that. So here's the crude, and we are seeing like this ending diagonal. We may see some kind of like a uh, buyers are coming back. If we get another buying opportunity, potentially early next week, that would say the correction is over. Because if you're gonna see like a nice low, and here is the higher low, and the higher high is gonna just get above this structure. So we're gonna see how it's gonna act with this level. So all in all, I should say crude rallies are getting stronger and deeper correction is coming, but the buyers are coming back. So we may see some kind of like, again, another strong rally to the upside. If it comes to 4 hours chart, just make sure, watch that one. If we get above this $72, $73, then $74 is going to be a decisive moment for crude because if it goes above 73 to 74, that would be a end of the corrective move. Moving on to, I want to say before individual names, I want to show you this chart. This is a mid-cap S&P 500 ETF MDY, and this tells me that we're kind of like forming a very nice pattern here. So this is a nice bull flag, and this bull flag is forming a very nice scenario for mid caps are going to have a strong rally to the upside, which is going to push S&P 500 higher. And that could be the reason for breaking through to the upside. So this chart potentially is going to be a market mover for the next few weeks. So we will see how it goes. Moving on to individual names. So starting with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just struggling at this area, 94 to 97,000. It's just consolidating. It's forming a bear flag, but this bear flag is forming with a higher low. So it's kind of like a getting weaker bear flag. So still looking for a rally, potentially fail to the downside. We'll see how it goes. Ethereum, though, it's kind of like a different because this is not bear flag anymore. This is kind of like a starting a build up a new bull flag, small bull flag here. So if we get more consolidation for the next 2-3 days, then we're gonna tackle this trend line. Any breaking through above 3,100, again, any breaking through above 3,100, that would initiate nice rally to 34, double top or triple top, then the all-time high. So keep an eye on 3,100. That's the very, very important level for Ethereum. Moving on to bond yield, just getting back to the downside, second consecutive day to the downside. I would say this is kind of like a top for bond yield. If it get below 4%, then it's going to go all the way down to 3.5. Treasury at the same time spiking up, challenging this trend line. And this is kind of like a first time after a while because we got this, but twice very short term. So when we see something like this means this trend line is getting weaker and weaker. Any breaking through that would be the changing the structure to the upside. So we'll see that. Moving on to VIX, the VIX is getting down, the formation is getting down, and I would say $12 is coming down the road. Moving on to Dixie, just getting to the downside, nicely QM pattern formed, and I would say 105 is coming down the road. Moving on to Apple, technology names getting back to the upside, 244, pretty good solid momentum. If we get above 247, then new all-time high. I would say it can easily engulf this double top here and getting back to new all-time high. Amazon is forming kind of like the end of the correction in a small time frame, 1 hour or even 4 hours chart. You can see that this is the kind of like the ending diagonal formation. Meta new all-time high. I would say this one can go to 1,000. Believe me or not, the formation is very, very parabolic move. Microsoft is forming a bottom here around a 408. So if market is getting back to the upside, especially technology and Nasdaq, Microsoft can challenge to 450. We will see how it goes. Moving on to Google. Google 185. This is the same. So Google is getting back to this important demand area here as well. So this is kind of like the gap. And we are just waiting for a reversal. Reversal touched. Not a strong candle, but if we get some strong candle above 190, I would say this is going to initiate a rally potentially to double top or new all-time high. Moving on to Netflix, new all-time high today, 1,058. Moving on to Tesla. Nicely reacted to this level today, just picking up the order, still needs to go above 380. All in all, the bigger picture is positive. I would say bullish. Moving on to SMA, Semiconductor Index, 252. I would say this sector can be a leader for next few weeks or months. And I should say decade, because semiconductors are going to be the future of the industry, believe me or not. Stocks, the same pattern, $223 up, nicely getting back to the upside. Taiwan Semiconductor with the deal with Intel is just getting back to the positive. Seems like the corporation actually is making profit and companies are shifting some kind of like allocating some kind of like technology to Intel and the other semiconductors are gonna just incorporate in that corporation. So we'll see how it goes. The news was pretty positive. AMD getting back to the upside, not bad pattern, $113 close. Nvidia nicely getting back to the upside. I would say we are getting to the short-term resistance here, somewhere around 140. But if it consolidates here, that's pretty good. So we can get back to the upside. Moving on to Texas Instrument. Texas is getting back to the upside. This ending diagonal formation is finished. So this is one low, one high ABC. Very, very long ABC is finished. And I'm just looking for more because this is a very, very I would say ugly choppy, but Texas is like that. So you see that very ugly choppy here, but when it breaks through, no one can catch it. It goes all the way up, sharp decline, getting back to new all-time high. So that would be the scenario for Texas again this time. So we will see how it goes. Moving on to Lamb Research. Lamb Research established itself above 80, nicely consolidating here. I would say Lamb Research target is going to be 101. Believe me or not, it's going to hit that level. Moving on to XLF, positive candle today, very low volume. KBE shooting a star actually here, but it's still KRE, the same pattern here, still they're positive. Goldman, sorry, JP Morgan, just a hit, a nominal new all-time high coming back down. So sellers are kind of like taking control. I would say the deeper correction potentially to 254. That would be kind of like a good scenario. So let's just put this line here. This is the level that we may see. If it goes down here, I would say the buyers are going to come back. Moving on to Goldman Sachs. Goldman is the same thing here, folks. So this is a nice positive trend line here. So we can just say this is kind of like the flag limit here right there. So 607 to 616. So this is the area. And also this trend line is coming to this as well. So if we get somewhere around here, that would be kind of like nice bullish scenario. Moving on to Bank of America, $46.96, $46.96 close. Wells Fargo, a nice positive momentum today, getting back to the upside. Shifting gear to the gold miners, GDX, engulfing at the top. I would say the correction is coming potentially to $39. And that $39 is going to be kind of like the hiccups or kind of like a buy in the dip scenario. GDXJ, the same pattern here. It can go all the way down to 46 to 47 to 48. AEM Agnico Eagle can go down to 88 to 89. And Newmont engulfing again, so it can go down to 43 to 44 for a buy dip scenario. Gold, a Barrick is coming down, and it can't just test this a broken trend line. This is a dynamic trend line, and if it gets there, I would say you can accumulate more in this name. Moving on to XLE, which is Energy Spider, positive candle, shooting a star. Crude was negative, but XLE was positive. This is kind of like a neat that we can see money is coming to energy market, I would say. Um, OIH, the same scenario here, just getting back to the upside, but goes down negative today. Exxon shooting a star. If it goes down more, I would say I'm going to be buyer. I don't waste my time just nagging. I'm gonna buy because this name, I would say with energy actually can go higher. I would say it's gonna go higher. Chevron, the same pattern here, shooting a star. This one can go down to 150, 153 again, pick up some orders. But if it gets back to the upside 160, breaking through, that would be a nice scenario to see how it goes. All right, folks, I believe I covered everything. I've got a special video for Alibaba. It's gonna be released over weekend, so make sure watch that video. That's gonna be fun. Have a fantastic Valentine. See you on the chart. Bye bye.